Hello, and welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
Today, we are here with another one of our saints in our Hispanic Heritage Month series.
Now, this is Saint Numero Dos because... Trace?
I think it's Trace.
Trace.
Yes, Trace, because we did Juan Diego.
See.
And we did Teresa of the Andes.
See. This is Saint Trace, which you're like, wait, but how? Because Hispanic Heritage Month begins in the middle of the month.
Yep.
Which we actually remembered.
Yes.
Yay us.
So, we are doing the first saint that was native born to the Americas.
Yes.
All right.
Who apparently beat out her own bishop and being declared first because he's also a saint.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, it's a historical reality that saints often come in clusters. Mm-hmm. They know each other. They're family of saints. They're friends of saints.
Anyway, today's saint is Rose of Lima.
Okay, so according to the notes I have here, she was born in April 20th, 1586, in Lima, which was a viceroyalty of Peru. And then she died August 24th, 1617. So that's about 30 years-ish.
31.
14 on one side, 17 on another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was 31.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also in Lima, Peru.
Probably a good thing that she's known as being of Lima.
Yeah.
So, what is so saintly about the short life of Saint Rose?
Well, for starters, she originally was not named Rose.
Sure, that's an English word. Rosa?
No, she originally was not named Rosa either.
So she was not originally named after a flower.
Well, she was named Isabel Flores de Oliva.
Oliva. Yeah.
Nice.
But she was one child out of many that her parents had.
See.
And her father was in the Spanish military. And he actually had moved in from Puerto Rico. And her mother was native of that area, but the sources slightly varied. But it seems to be that she was Incan and Spanish. Well, some say Incan and Spanish. Some say of the native peoples. Some people use the local regional variation of Creole to say she was, a mix of multiple cultures. So
Sure.
But anyway, she was originally nicknamed Rose or Rosa because when she was a baby, apparently a servant had a thing where she saw the baby, but her face turned into a rose.
That would freak me right out.
Yeah. That's the thing you don't forget real quick. I mean,
I've seen babies with rosy cheeks.
Or you do forget that real quick,
Please let me forget this.
That could not have happened.
I don't want to remember this.
Everybody's gonna think I'm crazy.
I'm just not going to tell anyone about this until later when she turns out to be incredibly holy.
Yes.
No, because she clearly got told about this
Yeah,
right away.
because that became her nickname.
Yes,
because
it
she
was her
probably
nickname.
screamed out, her face is a rose.
Yes. And she actually, for her confirmation, picked Rose or, Rosa as her name. So it was her name after that.
Nice.
As a child and young adult, she decided that she was going to copy St. Catherine of Siena.
So she was going to be moderate in all things and not at all undergo extreme penances.
I thought for sure you're going to insist that she was going to yell at the Pope for his house, but no.
Man up, Pope!
No.
Well, she was on the other side of the ocean. It was harder for her to yell directly at the Pope.
But no. Like St. Catherine, she enjoyed doing all sorts of fasting and penances of extreme amounts.
And like Saint Catherine, she was also a third order Dominican.
Yes, well, she wanted to become a religious sister, but her parents would not let her. And although, as time went on, they eventually gave up, trying to get her married off to a well-to-do family type thing.
Yeah.
Was admired for her beauty, so she cut her hair and rubbed pepper on her face as she did not want to marry.
I love that.
Yeah, so they would not let her actually become a nun, but they did let her become third order.
Yeah. She wanted to be a second order Dominican, a Dominican nun.
Yes.
But she had to settle for third order.
Yes, so she got her own room at the house, as the single adult family member, and she built herself a grotto, or she had it built. They appear to be not all that poor, you know.
Again, her father's high ranking in the occupying military.
Yes.
They're well-to-do.
Yes. They did have a few times where clearly it was hard times, because there's, you know, stories of her working and doing stuff to help pay for the family.
Yeah.
And other times when she was using the same skills to help pay for all the aid she wanted to do to the people of the area, so. But yes. She, like St. Catherine, did the type of fasting and penances that you need a full-time spiritual director. Not just like, hey, I go to, you know, confession every so often, and whatever priest is there.
No.
This is a situation where you need to have a, what's the word? A really dedicated spiritual director. Somebody who knows you, knows where you're at in your journey, and can really help steer you clear of going too far in one direction or another.
Mortification is good, but the kind of really hardcore mortification we're talking about should only be done under, you know, as Jess points out,
strict observation.
You know, psychological, medical, and spiritual direction from a trustworthy figure or figures.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as she's a saint, she probably was doing it for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
And B, part of what she did is she first became vegan and then went to, you know, bread and water. But she didn't tell everyone she was vegan. So that's super spiritual. Because, I mean, if you're going to be vegan, you have to tell everyone every 5 minutes.
Well, because you got those vegan superpowers.
So what you're saying is that she was the mythical good vegan?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also stories of saints who only drank water, but they would have it colored at table so as not to draw attention to themselves. Be holy, but don't be like, hey, look at how holy I am. Jesus is not a fan of that. He explicitly speaks against it at several points.
Actually, I believe you got the phrase wrong. It's, hey, look at how holy I am, you godless heathens.
Anyway, she
wasn't like that.
She solved that problem by essentially, whenever she could, she did nothing with other people besides caring for the sick and needy. Like, she was very much, you know, a recluse in her house. Mm-hmm. She went to church. She went to care for the poor. She worked as a gardener, largely in, from what I can tell, roses and other flowers.
Very,
so
very apropos.
Very on brand.
On brand.
And she did lace and embroidery and other specialty sewing type things, which, you know, she also apparently cared for the sick and hungry. Sometimes, actually, in her own room. Like, she'd take a sick person and nurse them back to health at her place.
Well, you know, this person is going to need constant care, and I'm not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it.
And because of that, she's considered the founder of social work in Peru.
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And for all of her, you know, quiet, pious things.
Yeah.
She also was apparently noted for speaking about the corruption of the Spanish officials.
So that was her way of yelling at the Pope.
Yes, and oppressing of the native peoples.
Which is no bueno.
No. Although, even in this, the last year of her life, she was actually living with a government official's house. Mm-hmm. You know, clearly it was a situation where, you know, she had her own quarters. It wasn't, you know, same type house thing. It was, you know, all on the up and up, but still.
Yeah. But she was criticizing the system from the inside. She wasn't someone who had no knowledge. It's like, you guys can do better. I call upon you, for the sake of your souls and the souls entrusted to you, to do better.
Apparently, she had the fun of meeting with the Inquisition.
Well, from what I can tell, she might not have actually met with them. Like, people were like, hey, there's this crazy lady who chopped off her hair and is doing, like, these insanely, you know, big penancy things.
She keeps yelling at us.
She's yelling at us to, you know, keep treat people nice.
With human dignity.
She calls me a godless heathen.
She does not.
You are a godless heathen. Yes, but nobody calls me that.
So
I'm pretty sure she could go around calling them godless heathens.
So she was investigated by the Inquisition, didn't necessarily testify before the Inquisition.
No.
Yes, as the report seemed to be that even the Inquisition was like, she appears to be influenced by grace, and then just went on their way.
No, she's totally fine. You guys are whack.
We're okay with this. And you are a godless heathen, sir.
There was nothing about godless heathens in this storyline.
There is now.
There is now.
Anyway, it's thought that she might have already went and knew when she was going to die and, like, let people know.
Nice.
And her funeral was attended by all the public authorities in the city. And they actually they actually had to take turns because everyone wanted to carry the casket.
Yeah. You know this lady who's always yelling at me for not doing my job and not properly taking care of the poor? I totally want to get some credit for carrying her body.
Yes. And like
That and you realize that casket, second class relic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I want some of that.
And essentially, the city shut down for a couple of days for it because all the poor
Nice.
loved her because she was taking care of them.
Yeah.
And all the people in charge did too. This is more on the line of legend that we don't have a lot of first-hand reports of happening.
Like Nate's constant screaming about godless heathens.
Well, I mean, we do have people before Nate who said this happened, so slightly better than that. But some people say that the city either smells like roses or roses fell from the sky on.
I've heard the smell
day
part.
she died.
I've heard the smell part. Nice. It rained rose petals.
And because she was.
There's two altar boys up in the mountains. Just tossing out petals.
And because she was.
Gotta get the wind. Gotta wait till the wind comes along.
Because she was the first Catholic saint from the Americas, she is the patron of a ton of things.
Yes. Again, get in early.
So,
Which is too late for anyone watching this, but.
yes. She actually was canonized in 1671, back when she was canonized in Rome of the Papal States.
And that's really quick. You know, she'd been dead for just over 50 years. On the other side of the world.
Yes. She's the patron of embroiderers. Patroness. Sewing lace. Gardeners, florists, Latin America, people ridiculed or misunderstood for their piety. Resolution of family quarrels. The indigenous peoples of the America. Peru, Philippines, India.
Villarreal, Santa Rosa, California, Santa Rosa Laguna, Santa Rosa Nueva. I'm not even going to try and slaughter that name. Alcoy, Cebu, Arima, Trinidad and Tobago, Against Vanity, and Sittard in the Netherlands.
Along with having numerous dioceses and parishes around the world that are named after her.
Yeah. In short, St. Rose was awesome. She was a dedicated follower of Jesus, and not just in a way that was comfortable, but she subjected herself to what would today be considered excessive penances, and really, she didn't just talk the talk, she walked the walk. And smelled like roses.
Yep. So.
Or pepper, depending on where she was on the trying to not get married regime.
Rose, you are the most beautiful woman I've ever. Achoo!
I don't think it was that pepper.
It's working.
I mean, it is South America, so it was probably chili
It was
peppers.
probably chilies.
No one's ever said.
Which
sneezes-
would have
then your sneezes are gonna be really
made her
awful.
face really flush.
Yeah.
Because, you actually get, like, a reaction when you get hot peppers touching your skin.
Yeah. That's why Nate and Jess were wearing gloves when they did the Packy Challenge.
Yes.
That, and if you get it under your nails, it takes forever for it to come out.
And it's just going to keep burning.
Yep. So, go down below to the comment section and leave us a comment about a saint of his or blessed of Hispanic origin that you might like us to do a piece on.
Yeah.
I mean, we will probably try to do it one day. As one can expect, there are way more than we can fit in this weird month.
There are a lot of them. We've already got most of the spots for this weird half month to half month planned, but you never know. You might recommend one that we already had planned, in which case you can go right on and believe that we picked it because you suggested it.
And we won't do anything to disabuse you of that.
We will not.
Or you could pick one where we're like, I didn't even know this was one, because, we're trying to get a variety of different ones. And you could be like, you haven't got any from this area or group or stuff.
That would be great if you could introduce us to a new friend in heaven.
That's right. And while you're down there in the comment section, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get notified when new episodes come out. Remember, we do like our criticism constructive. So if you are going to leave us a thumbs down, please let us know what we did or did not do that made that episode not live up to your expectations.
In a note that's not a manifesto.
In a note that's not a manifesto.
Yeah, otherwise we'll just assume you hate roses.
That, and one of these days, some of these commenters are just going to get a response back that says TLDR.
And until next time,
remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.
They're not going to get that because most of those ones are auto-flagged for something they said or did
know.
within it.
I don't know. I really kind of want to go and respond to one of them. TLDR. Too long. Didn't read.